anyways, as I was saying, probably gonna be short stream, just reacting. El Chico Eevee suggested that there's going to be a Pokemon that can ride other Pokemon. It can be ridden. It can transport other Pokemon. Then they posted this that would suggest that it is probably either Mantine or Vaporeon. Probably Mantine. But you know, I made the joke. You have to. So we will see about that, hopefully. Which I don't really see, but maybe they could. But unlikely to me. And there was also stuff in here. Right. And here are the leaked patch notes for somebody who apparently is unable to continue playing the game, but who was in an official tournament and was given some future changes, supposedly coming out on the 30th of this month. In theory. And so we have some screenshots here. So we have Shadow Sneak, which got a big old wall of text. Probably going to have some kind of change to its actual thing, but they also have a tendency to just include the move descriptions in these patch notes, so hard to say. Supposedly, the time it takes them to turn invisible is going to be doubled effectively, which is great. I still would like it if they couldn't transform when you can see them at all, but, you know, what have you. Apparently, there's also a thing where if you stun them, then their transformation will be cancelled, which might be what this is that we cannot see. So that would be very nice if that you could just wait for them to show that flash of purple and then you stun them, and now there's actually a counter to him going invisible. Would be very nice. Still free 100 scores, but at least maybe they won't be so oppressive for the rest of the game. They'll actually have to play the game as opposed to just mashing their moves whenever they want. Urshifu's single strike style Wicked Blow's damage reduction is being cut into 2/3, right? So it's being reduced by about 33%, give or take, and from 30% to 20% damage reduction, and then 60% to 40% damage reduction. It's a pretty hefty blow, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough for just how much. That's still half damage at level. When does this? When does he gets this? At level 5, right? So I think it's at like level 11. He gets this. I think. I'm not sure. I think he gets that at level 11. That's still pretty good, but we'll see. The Unite move is also apparently being changed, but I'm not sure how. Probably in its damage, one would assume. Rapid Strike or Water Bear. The boosted attack is apparently getting something. I'm not sure what though. It's 1.5 to 2, whatever that means. This might be a reduced range, if I had to guess. I don't know. Surging Strikes, I think the cooldown is going from 13 seconds to 11 seconds, and then it gets further reduced from there when he does his moves, you know. The Unite move, there are changes. There's quite a bit of numbers, though, so it's hard to tell exactly what it means. It might be reducing the number of hits it takes to get a combo, so you can just do the whole thing faster. I'm thinking. Quiet, you. No one asked you. We also have a couple of more pictures here. We have Scizor, whose Sword Stance, it looks like the cooldown's being increased. And the damage, I think it's damage, buff that it gives is being reduced as well by about 20%, give or take. I'm doing my math right. So that's not bad. Dual Wing Beat, I think, is getting an extra second of cooldown. Or maybe they're reducing its range instead, I'm not sure. Although I don't know how going from 5 to 6 would be reduced range. That's probably the cooldown going up. Swords Dance on Scyther is also getting probably a cooldown increase, maybe. Damage reduction. Thunder's messaging me for a reason. Check DM. Well, let me finish looking at these pictures first, at least. Scyther's Unite move, I think, is having its damage nuked, hopefully. It looks like it might be, once again, a 33% reduction. Not bad. Mime Confusion. I'll, finish looking at that picture, so fine. I'll look at what I assume is the translated version of these patch notes. Yeah, so we have time to stealth doubled. If you get stunned, you don't enter stealth anymore, which might actually add some counterplay, so Sableye actually has to play the game. They're like, Ankoku Kyoda, Wicked Blow. Damage reduction, two-thirded. Inato Black. Final action. The Unite move. 25% less damage. Very nice. You don't specify the direction, only the specified opponent's Pokemon will be damaged and lost. Okay, so it doesn't stun and kill the entire enemy team now. It's a single target execute, like most of the all-rounders ults in the game. When you think characters like Aegislash, Serena especially. There's another one, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Charizard. And generally, the all-rounders take one person and they kill them, or at least stun them for a long period. So this brings it quite a bit in line with that idea, rather than just murdering everyone. Rapid Strike boosted attack effect shortens the wait. Okay, it reduces the cooldown. Instead of reducing it by 1.5 seconds, it reduces it by 2 seconds. Okay, so way faster. So Rapid Strike just gets their moves way more. Their Unite, or no, their actual move, just the normal move, the 3-hit combo. Their cooldown's going from 13 to 11, and then there's even more cooldown, so you're getting it even more often. So he's just going to be melting people constantly. The heck are you playing? I'm reading some patch notes for a game. And then I'm probably going to bed because I have to wake up super early. How you doing? How you been? Sorry I haven't had time this week. I've just been so busy trying to fix what I'm doing. Yeah. Not important. Now what are we talking about? Iryu no Buto. Night move. Surging strikes then. The number of damage, okay. The number of hits required to increase the number of consecutive attacks in the combo instead of 3 hits to, yeah. So, as I expected, it's, instead of 3 hits for every addition to the combo, now you only need to hit someone 2 times to get a longer combo with Water Shifu's ult. Very nice, very nice. Not much time. I'm going to finish at 7. Yep, that's about what I've been dealing with. It's not great. They didn't fix Water Belt ult. No, they didn't make it unstoppable, which is a shame because it means it still sucks. But I guess they're hoping that instead Water Shifu will be able to just spam their moves so much that their ult only needs to be a single target execute. You just use it when there's only one person left. You use it at the start of a team fight. You kill someone with just spamming the moves, and then you ult whoever's left. I assume that's how they want you to use it, and they don't want you to be able to just execute someone at the start of a fight. I guess. I don't know why every other all-rounder already does that, but I guess they want it in a different direction. Whatever. We'll see if this helps. It doesn't seem like enough, but we'll see if it helps. They didn't really nerf Wicked Blow's damage at all, so I mean it doesn't look like they really nerfed Urshifu that much anyway. They nerfed the damage reduction, but it still does like 4k, so that's not great. So it's still one of the better secure moves in the game. It's just that you might be able to kill him before he actually, kills the objective now. It's something, I guess. Let's see what they did to Scyther. Oh my goodness. Okay, thank you so much. For free time, indeed. Oh gosh, I haven't opened Steam in like a week, have I? Man. I was playing Cult of the Lamb off stream just because I wanted to play something, and Cult of the Lamb, I'm not really a big enough streamer to play it on stream. I don't have enough people, for the most part. I 100%ed it and finished it because it's a really short game, and it took me like a week to do because I only had like an hour to play it at a time. As soon as I finished it, gosh, I don't think I've opened Steam since. Hot dang. They barely did anything to Scyther? That's not good. Uh, Unite move, green star, dip. Sure. I'm gonna call it green star. Isn't it like green clone or something in English? Whatever. Range of first stage reduced by about 30%. Okay, so it's less of a dash now, thank goodness. Second dash, because it needed 2, decreased by about 20%. That's not enough. That's not enough. Okay, so that's not much of a nerf for Scyther. It just means that if he is super overcommitting, he doesn't get away with it. But so that's not the part that's annoying. Is that it too? Oh my god. Oh. Oh no, I just skipped the rest of them. That's it. We have Scizor. We have Scizor, Swords Dance, Swords Rande, Swords Dance. Cooldown up 1 second. Attack increase down 20%. Well, 20% overall, but 3% total. 3% total, but 20% relative. You know what I mean. Less damage. Dual wing beat, 1 second increased cooldown, no range change. Shame. Fake patch notes. Sad times. Would have been a nice nerf. Would have been nice. And Swords Dance, 1 extra second of cooldown and reduced damage increase, which isn't much, but it's something. That's not much of a nerf to Scyther, I'll be honest, but it's better. Not by much, though. They're really hesitant to mess with stats, I've noticed. I guess after the Scizor Scyther stat boost, they're hesitant to mess with stats now. Strange. Mr. Mime, Confusion, Barrier, damage 15% increase. Okay, so they've just nerfed Confusion overall, which is fine because it was too much damage. Psychic was worthless, still. Additional damage when hitting the Pokemon against the wall not adjusted. Okay, so... What? Okay, so hitting Confusion against Mime's Barrier does less damage, but hitting the opponent against just a normal wall does the same amount of damage. So, that's so weird. Hey, good night. Alright, good night, bro. Hopefully we can meet up soon. I'm caught up on my homework at least, so that should be a little bit better. at least. I say that I'm going to have to power through a bunch of homework tomorrow. Great. Not important. Don't think about it. That's a very strange nerf. Power swap, movement speed increase when connected with an ally reduced. Well, that's nice. I don't think anyone was really complaining about that part though. Recovery amount when connected to an ally, 15% decrease. That's better. That's better. Barrier, it's showtime. Oh, in Japanese it's showtime. In the American English, it's just showtime. Weird. I will continue to call it Mime showtime anyway, which is neither of those. Damage 10% decrease. That's the problem you had with it? Not the egregious dash and the amount of unstoppable instead of hindrance resistance? And the amount of stun in such a wide area? You had a problem with the damage it did? What is this? Moonlight recovery amount, 15% increase. Oh gosh, it's going to be even more impossible to kill anything in a Clefairy field. Oh boy. And gravity is a longer stun if you dash into it. I mean, that's fine. That doesn't really feel like where it needed the buff, but you know, there's definitely a patch that's been missed here. Oh, I see. It's been increased from 0.5 seconds to a full second. That's good, because it really should be a bigger punishment for just missing. Maybe it's a nerf to Power Swap Confusion. Swap isn't a wall. Well, Power Swap Confusion was already nerfed. Because this is under its Unite move, and that the damage is decreased. The Unite move's damage was decreased. Unless they misread the translation, but I doubt that. Power Swap's damage wasn't changed, but it also wasn't affected again. It was already heavily nerfed. At least as far as I could tell from what other people were saying, it was heavily nerfed. No one really used Power Swap Confusion after the nerf. Or if they did, the damage was not really what they were using it for. They were just confusioning people into walls anyway, because that's where most of its damage comes from. There's so many walls in this map. Hoopa Ghost Dip? Phantom Force, gotcha. Changed how to use the move to activate at the specified position. Does that mean they changed the button? Or does that mean that it changes where the teleport goes to? Instead of going to where Hoopa was, now you go somewhere else? Or you can... Maybe it changes its targeting? Maybe? I assume. Portal Potty? Hoopa Portal Potty? Wait time 12 seconds to 10 seconds. So it's buffed. So they just undid the previous nerf, which I don't like. I don't like that. And waiting time to be able to return. And so the cooldown on teleporting is gone from 15 seconds to 10 seconds. So it's returned to a point where you just never die with a Hoopa. If you have a Hoopa with a hole, you just never die again. That's rough. That is rough. And time until recovery effect starts when returning 0. Okay, so you can heal even faster. So they just reverted it to how strong it was when it was incredibly broken. And they're just relying on the longer healing in the main base to make it take longer. Which is a lie, because it doesn't take that long at all. You still heal on the order of like a single second. So that's going to be a problem, especially with the better Ray. With better Rayquaza, this basically means that team fights with Hoopa are just the worst again. Great. Fantastic! Because that's what we needed, is Hoopa back. With no other changes to anything. At all. Great. Ugh. Unite move, Timeless Halo. That's not at all what it is in English. It's Rings Unbound. What? Timeless Halo? That sounds way cooler. Required Unite move gauge reduced by about 15%. So you get it even more? Why? Why did you undo all of the nerfs? Why? But kept the fact you can power swap onto an enemy and can't kill anything. Wild, right? Because for some reason, I guess Mime just has to do as much damage as humanly possible. They're desperately just trying to get Mime right up to the limit of how much damage it can do. And also we have Hoopa back, so that's fantastic. It's not like we already saw them too much in tournament play, because having a heal every 12 seconds was still really good. I can see it already. It's gonna be just as bad. You have a Mamo, you have a Trev, you have a Blissey, and you have a Delphox. And maybe you switch out either the Trev, you probably switch out the Trev with the Hoopa. And then you have a Delphox, and then maybe like a Scyther or a Scizor or something running around, a Dodrio, and just the Mamo and the Blissey just never die. They just never die because hyper hole. You just have a Delphox in the back that never gets caught, and you just have a Mamo in the front that just never dies. Never. Because that's what happened the last time they had this. Is I was able to quite literally keep a push going on a goal for eternity with nothing but a Mamo. Hoopa Mamo, and now Mamo's buffed, so just a Hoopa Mamo is enough to just push a goal, period. Because it takes 10 seconds for a Mamo to even die. You could also replace the Trevenant with a Slowbro if you wanted. It just never dies. It'll just never die. I've seen a Slowbro heal half its health with a single amnesia. Even if you burn it in 10 seconds, it will just heal all the way back up. There's no way to kill it. Ugh. That's not the buff that Hoopa needed. That's not what we needed. We did not need this. There was no reason to have this. Ugh, not only do I not think that they got rid of any S tiers, I think they added one. I think Hoopa's actually going to be just an infuriating problem that you can't do anything about now. Not when we have infinitely, not when we have such problems as like Delphox ult, Hoopa ult, Scizor, Mamo, Trevenant. Heck, even Blastoise has been pretty popular lately. Snorlax, oh gosh, Snorlax. Ugh. Blissey. Eldegoss. There's just so many characters that just won't die. Ugh. What else? What is the rest of this? Unite move. Dragapult, Shadow Ball, 12% damage increase. Okay. Shadow Ball plus 12% damage increase. Fantastic, because it just needed to be damage. That's all that mattered with Shadow Ball. It's not the fact that it didn't have any synergy. My gosh, this patch sucks. This patch sucks. And they still didn't touch Delphox at all. They did not touch Delphox. They did not touch Gengar. They didn't touch Glaceon at all. Nothing. This patch sucks. Unite turning into StarCraft. If you have a tank problem, Scyther can fix it. Yeah. So can Glaceon apparently, because apparently they can one-shot Mamo if you crit enough. 35 days for this patch. 35 days for this patch. 35 days for not a single stat change. And I don't think it will actually nerf any of them. Maybe it'll nerf Sableye, to be fair. Maybe Sableye will actually have counterplay now. But all it does is just make them susceptible to the same stun meta that's plaguing everyone else. 35 days for this patch leak. Ugh. And we still don't have Shedinjadal. Do you know how good that would be for Espeon? Come on, man. We still have 6 more days. Nah, this was... That's true. This is technically a patch leaked to the professional players like a week ago. This was leaked to them like a week ago, and we've only just now gotten it. So it's not necessarily all the things that will happen, but it is almost definitely... Actually, no, that's not true. They have gotten in the habit lately of adding changes to the patch notes at the last minute. The patch notes that we get in the actual physical game tend to have 1 or 2 extra things on them. Tencent refuses to communicate with Western players. They refuse to communicate at all, but especially to us. Though to be fair, I would be ashamed of telling people about this too. The next player had enough and leaked it anyway. Yeah. So they've probably added more changes after this, but probably nothing significant. Because realistically, what would they add? Yeah, other people have tried to try and teach Falcos to do that, but they do not, unfortunately. And here's the rest of the patch note. These are the same patch notes that we just saw. I mean, it's Thief is pretty good against Lucario, I have found. Sableye is actually a pretty good counter to Lucario. Because it means that for like the first minute or so, you can't get any stacks. It's rough. Unless you like perfectly sneak by them. I mean, obviously, as soon as Lucario gets level 5, he still railroads the entire lane, but it takes longer, and that's pretty important for a team. And it's pretty important. I'm excited for the 13% damage buff on Dragapult Shadow Ball. I mean, it'll probably be worth using, but the dash will be nice. It might actually be worth using now, which is nice, but I mean, eh, who cares? They also didn't do anything about Sableye's absurd healing and speed in stealth, which is a problem. It's still not worth over the slow of Dragon Breath? No, it is not, which is kind of the problem. The dash would be nice. It's not a big deal, though. It's not enough to actually help you. Dragon Breath you can actually use to save your other members that are running to the back lines to save themselves. Double I can't change Shadow Sneak and Confuse Ray anymore. Yeah, but it's still going to be impossible to deal with once it gets away, though, which sucks. Because Sableye is just so fast. They're so fast and they heal so much when they're invisible. Takes about 2 seconds. 1.5. In early game, it's still probably going to be enough to keep you from killing them. And also, it's still free 100s when you're going to score. It still takes way too long to find them. And that still means that Sableye also gets free objectives. So late game, there's still going to be a menace. It's just that they might actually die for it. So they're only going to be a menace and the part that actually matters instead of all of the parts of the fight. They're just going to be a menace when you're actually attacking an objective or doing a team fight. And then the ult is going to come out. Instead of Sableye just ulting by itself over in the middle of nowhere because they can get away with it. Now Sableye is going to be in the back lines of their team, and as soon as your tanks go in, psst, back to start with you. Although, I guess Hoopa is also going to help counter that, because if you see a Sableye go off, you just Hoopa hole them back to goal. And then they can teleport right back. Countered. Man, I don't want Hoopa back, man. I main Hoopa. I still don't want it back. I don't want it back, man. That meta sucks. I don't want Hoopa added to the Mime Glace. That's gonna suck. And they still didn't buff Zera. The fuck? They buffed Hoopa and not Zera. That's the third time that they have taken another low tier that is above Zera and buffed it. Why do they hate Zera specifically so much? They buffed Gardevoir without buffing Zera. They buffed Garchomp without buffing Zera. Now they've buffed Hoopa without buffing Zera. Freaking heck, man. They buffed Decidueye without buffing Zera. They buffed Mammo without buffing Zera. They buffed so many low tiers. Sucks. The more I think about it, the more this patch sucks. Yeah, this is a leak to the players, so maybe they just left the actual numbers out. But the fact that they left like the cooldown stuff in, I don't know. I feel like they probably didn't change stats much. Bleh. Uh, Whatever. At least with the reduced cooldown, I'll probably be able to play Hoopa in solo queue. But it doesn't matter because no one takes the portals anyway. So Hoopa's still going to be worthless in solo queue. FBI, open up! Hi, Mobilus. Patch sucks. They also didn't nerf Dodrio. I can understand why they weren't really able to tell how broken he was, though. What the patch doing? Not much. Not much. I get the distinct fear that they didn't actually nerf any of the S tiers and instead added one. Which is painful.